Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Natura Ignite titled Healed. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track on YouTube. We have the music video for this. This song apparently is off of the Artisan of the Heart album. We're going to listen through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. We're also going to be giving the song an overall score out of 10 based on various musical criteria at the end, but for now, let's go. Let's do it. What have we got? Healed. It's kind of ominous with that buzz there. I mean, I like the panning of the toms. How they go around the sides of the stereo field. I mean, I hear the bass, it's just kind of subtle, you know. There's the bass. Oh, parallel major at the end, nice. New section. Like, I'm torn because I think there's like some really fantastic production decisions made here. I can't help but feel like the vocals are a little bit subtle in the mix in comparison to a lot of the kick patterns. They're just not as discernible, but I do like the way they're mixed. I think that the track in general is tight, and when I finally sort of got the feel of that bass and what they're trying to do with those leveling decisions there, I think it works really well. I mean, the drums are ridiculous. They're so technical, man. Go use the hand drums here as well for a bit of a more organic feel to it. Healed. So that was a really beautiful song. I'm gonna figure out how to score it. I'm gonna talk about it more in the conclusion. And so welcome to the conclusion of my review of this track from an act named Natura Ignite, titled Healed, off of the Artisan of the Heart album. Before we go into it, I gave this song an overall score of 8.2 out of 10, which I feel is a very, very strong score. There was a lot of stuff I really liked about it. The performance in general is phenomenal. It's very, very rare that I give a 9 for performance. Very, very rare. But you know, outside of that, what do we think this track is about? I'm not sure what the song is about necessarily. I would need multiple listens to get it. I couldn't hear the vocals clearly a lot of the time, and that's not, I think, a fault of the vocalist. I just think there were either a lot of other elements competing for attention, or the vocals just weren't as present in the mix as I would have wanted. I understand it is difficult to kind of balance so many ingredients within a piece, and this is again not even like a mark of like critique against the production necessarily, because there was just so much done really well with the leveling of the various sort of guitar, like lead guitar, bass, and drum parts and such. I thought it was near commercial grade in terms of the level of production on it. But if I'm honest, I just didn't get all the words through clearly. I was listening for them. I think if I was to go with what I heard, it's either I won't be healed or I will be healed. I'm wondering if it's someone going through some sort of journey where maybe they have to either, they don't want to run away from their problems anymore and they're trying to overcome something. That's basically the crux of it. I think it's testament to the quality of the music that I'd be very comfortable listening through this track again in my own time to try and figure it out, but it's me just being sort of transparent up front before you go any further. And I think what I want to do is talk about the vocals, though. I want to give credit to that because I feel they're very, very confident and comfortable on the microphone. We had a nice tone, texture, and timbre to our voice. I liked the kind of the breathiness of it. Some parts where there was a bit more body, I think there was just a lot going on, so they weren't as clear even then. And we were more sort of like simplified with the way we approached certain lines and certain elements to make things easier for the listeners to kind of get along with. I think maybe, again, the second time around, you're more familiar with the instrumentality involved, especially in a progressive piece like this. It's more predictable, therefore you'll focus more on the story. But I don't want to diminish their effort on the microphone. They're very comfortable in the head and chest voice. They had a great sort of glow to their vocals. There was a lot of warmth to it. It wasn't too cold. There was a lot of harder elements here with the various distorted guitar takes and the various, all sorts of different chords and harmonies, which we'll talk about in a moment. But in terms of like a highlight for me personally, again, while I didn't get the words through clearly, I did like listening to the vocalist. And the fact that they were comfortable enough to not feel the need to be there all the time is testament to their confidence with the band members and the chemistry between the main parts and everything else. I think it's an incredibly technical performance in terms of the actual proficiency of the musicians involved. The two I'll focus on are the guitar and the drums. Some of the alternate picking that we had on guitar parts was just ridiculous. It was tremendously precise. It had a great sense of unison rhythmically with a lot of the really complicated double kick parts on the kit, as well as the various other elements there. I loved the various solo sections that we had. I thought they were very sort of flavorful. We displayed both an adept handling of the fretboard as well as a nuance and understanding of how to express ourselves in a way that is both advanced whilst also never being too much. We just managed to toe the fine line between too many notes and too little. I know that sounds so basic, but when you've got a track that is this complicated with the various sort of major and minor, as well as some of the modes and harmonic and melodics, or the parallel majors and minors that you had within the chord progressions, it's really just sort of testament to the capacity of themselves as musicians to be able to sort of pull it together as an alternate lead voice there, and it was impressive. But the drummer was just so wonderful on the kit. It was just such a tight performance. They were like a metronome, and it's something where in the style of music where you're trying to do a whole lot of quarters 8, 16 to 30 seconds and triplets or 16 triplets, all sorts of different patterns, going between different feels of different sections, with this being a journey over time. The drums never felt like they were too much, even when a lot of the playing here was beyond what most people would go through within their training. Like they clearly understand how to play the instrument. And I admire drummers who are able to pull it off. It's very difficult to convince a listener to listen to more if you do a lot but you don't do it very well. It's even worse if it's okay, because then it's not even exciting to be like, wow, this is bad. You know what I mean? This was the complete opposite though. They're incredibly capable on the drum kit. They're very great at tone line, and they also know when to sort of like tap out. Like at the end of the piece where you had the hand drums, or like the kind of the lead guitars and then the acoustic guitars, etc. You didn't have drums there at all, really. You had a much softer feeling to it. So the drummer not only knew how to play when they needed to, but also when to bow out when it was more appropriate for there to be a lower sense of intensity to track kind of bowing out like that. I love that overall bell curve there. It's so satisfying. I think credit to the bass playing, that when we heard them, they were doing a bit of exploration on the fretboard, but I think for the most part they were sort of sticking to the root notes of the various sort of chord progressions and main sort of like key parts involved, and I dig that a lot. I think it's just sensible to be support sometimes, you know, even if you can play incredibly well, it's also incredibly important to be sort of in sync and providing a ground floor. I think finally it's the actual structure that I'll talk about. This track flew by, and it's 8 minutes long, or at least 7 and a bit minutes long. And I know that it's not an unusual thing for someone to say, wow, you've got to be careful with how you write longer tracks. But if you can write them like this, write as many tracks like this as you want, because you can pull it off. I think that when you're writing music, even if it's a purely selfish endeavor, the moment you try and share it with someone else, you've got to consider their attention span and whether or not your music is inviting them to be a part of it. I think you've got to provide, if you're going to go progressive or you're going to go, you know, on an adventure, you need to have that range there, have those different riffs, have those different ideas, maybe even sort of like key signature changes, something like that. But you need to have the transfers so seamless. You have to have dynamic range, differences between the intensity of certain parts. There needs to be peaks and troughs, and you need to have moments of suspense, like little pauses and stuff like that. You need to have a lot of what this track has within it in order to succeed in that form factor. Writing a 7 or 8 minute long track is not for the faint of heart. Not every band can pull it off, but I think Natura Ignite are able to accomplish that really well. It's not just that they're incredibly proficient musicians, it's also that they care about the list. They don't take the listener for granted, and they slammed it. So I just had a quick listen back at one part as I was going through the structure of it and kind of admiring a lot of the different ideas, and did it to this life. I'm wondering if the healing is almost like, I don't want to sort of lose myself in the process of this. I don't want to become almost melancholic, or I don't want to become a different person through this process. I don't want to be indebted because of how you've done this for me. I'm not sure. I need more time with the track, but I do like the approach, and I think just a little bits of the lyrics I'm getting are very fascinating. And just all the various ghost notes on the drum kit as well, with the little sort of cymbal hits there, the little flickers and bits of air candy and stuff like that. It's just, you can click on any part of this and find a unique, interesting concept that's been approached well. And it seems like I'm glazing, and I suppose I am, but this is why this is just great music. I also want to give a special shout out, a special credit to the studio production. Again, apart from my comments on the vocals, where that's maybe even sort of like a headphone based thing, overall the EQing, filtering, sort of panning and stuff in the stereo field, the vocals going on different sides, etc. There are a lot of really fantastic ideas that were accomplished well here. Dynamic range, etc., nice and loud. I just try and do like 3 main things with these sort of like types of videos, unless it's like a full song analysis. But I love it, and I wish them all the best of luck with this song and Artist Under the Heart, the album this track's off. Because thank you for watching my review of this song from an act named Natura Ignite titled Healed, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool, stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands out.